And episode 30 of the Consistency Podcast is here. My name's Steve from Glosta, and that opening, of course, is a tribute to Chris Mad Dog Russo, my buddy Mick, who I hope understands that I wasn't taking a shot at him this week in studio. Absolutely not. I'm a Mick guy. The Beyond Average opening is brilliant, as I was a huge Mike and the Mad Dog fan to the point that I know their opening theme song word for word. So hearing Mick's opening takes me back to the glory days of radio, listening to Mike and the Mad Dog, Howard Stern, The Big Show, Opie and Anthony, and anything Kirk was a part of at WEEI. Speaking of Kirk, he said in a recent KMS episode that grown adults shouldn't have fun. He makes a good point, of course, as life as you grow older isn't always sunshine and rainbows. But you also shouldn't treat life like you're given 1 week to live by a medical professional. But isn't that the attitude we're still seeing from a few people at the other network? I mean, I don't think hostage-type videos void of the orange jumpsuits is a good look. I mean, I like Jolie Axe. I really do. But I think she took what happened a little too seriously. I mean, don't you think that? What was going on with her last on-air appearance with Menners? It was a little too much. I mean, of course, I get it. It's a culture shock to go from having a ton of shows to a few, but there really isn't a need to act like your house burned down. I mean, it was just too much. And I really hope Joe considers moving to our network, as having her produce Mike and the Minifans again would be great, as she did such a wonderful job supporting BA and John. Change is hard, of course, but once it happens, it is actually pretty good. Just ask anyone who switched networks. And I'm not saying that the other network needs to do a bunch of bits to win people back, but acting like your dog died grows old fast. And I think Menners is starting to get that, as his attitude about what happened definitely improved as the week went on. The State of the Union with Sneakers was the greatest hits, but what else is new with them? Menners said it was cathartic, but it kind of really was the same song and dance routine. Two guys who take shots at the show when the red light is on, but they can't wait for each new episode to come out when they're not on camera. They're definitely closet fans of the show, and you can see that. The Gathering of the Goats was a really good show. I thought Menners and VD were an enjoyable listen. They made good points, they cracked a few jokes, and they were really good when Kirk was on with them. Hopefully they can keep this momentum going, as having two rival networks is a good thing. Competition is wonderful because it pushes everybody to do better, and the end result will be that the fans will get quality shows that they can enjoy. And that is what all of us should not lose our focus on. It's not about the rivalry, it's about the fans. So it's our job to put out good stuff for them to enjoy. Speaking of this wonderful network, it's great to see that we've added Cinema Lords, Danny and Bill Ricca, and the Shaddocks to our team. These are great people who will make this network even stronger. Cinema Lords is very knowledgeable when it comes to movies, and it's too bad he wasn't in studio with me the other day to throw me a life raft after that horrendous Dirty Dancing and Ghost screw up. I am a complete moron. I don't know what I was talking about, and it's definitely something I'm not going to ever live down. Danny's a good guy. Quantum Kirk with he and Daver was always a must listen, and it's too bad Daver won't be joining Danny for the relaunch of the show. But time heals all wounds, so maybe Daver will consider coming back. If not, you know Danny's going to do a great job, and having a rotating co-host with him, if Daver doesn't come back, is a great move. And having the Shaddocks with us is a major win. As you guys know, I'm a huge fan and supporter of theirs. I have been for a long time. And what's great about the Shaddocks is that they're in on the joke and they totally get what's going on, be it in the KMS or political circles. And, definitely having a few added political people to this network, along with Montante, is a great thing, especially with the presidential election coming up in a few months. Adding all of this talent to this network makes us even stronger, and I look forward to what they and my colleagues have in store for the next few weeks and months to come. Moving on, it was another excellent unnamed podcast. Kirk, Ryan, and Dave are really hitting their stride and delivering a quality show each week. The Chris Castellani saga dominated the episode, of course, and it doesn't take an HR rep to see that the word mutual was used very loosely by Dave to announce that Chris is no longer with Barstool. Of course, a lot of rumors are swirling as to what led to Chris being let go. But this to me is another example of someone not realizing that they had a dream job at Barstool and essentially ripped up their lottery ticket by not doing what Dave asked. Keep your head down and blog. Working for Dave seems simple. Do your work, create content, be a good employee and colleague, and don't cross the lines when it comes to certain interactions with people. It's really simple, and I can't believe Chris didn't follow that. I mean, as I've said in the past, so many people would walk to Manhattan for a job. It seems like it's the most wonderful place to work, and, Chris really blew it. And I don't know. I mean, for some reason, I don't think Chris realized that silence is a sleep that nourishes wisdom. And I know Chris struggles with a lot of stuff. So maybe it's best that he uses his time to get the help he needs. And you know what? I'm sure he probably wanted a mulligan for what went down this week. But after hearing Portnoy say that this was a mutual parting, even though it wasn't, it's probably best that Chris is no longer with Barstool. But I'm sure he's definitely kicking himself for ruining what he had. As they say, silence is golden. Unless, of course, you're Jersey Jerry, who is starting to become unhinged over the Kevin Conley nonsense. Of course, it stinks to not have somebody acknowledge you, but Jerry has to ask himself, is it really worth it at this point? It's like the scene in The Bronx Tale where Louis kept on making excuses as to why he couldn't pay Colangelo $20 to the point where C was so upset that he wanted to beat Louis up. It took a life lesson from Sonny for C to realize that the $20 wasn't worth it and that he should just let it go. And of course, Jerry is owed a lot more than $20, but is getting in arguments with guys like Ryan Whitney and making a life mission to ruin Kevin Conley's life really worth it? I mean, Jerry's got to think about that. And sure, it's easy for me to say it as I'm not the one who's owed thousands of dollars, but Jerry has to realize that he has it better now at Barstool. He's successful, and this BS with Kevin Conley is only going to hurt his image rather than help it. And plus, who really wants to deal with Kevin Conley? I mean, the guy's a joke. He seems like his character on Entourage, a self-entitled prick who cashed in on other people's fame. Think Vinny Chase from the show. Aside from Entourage and Unhappily Ever After, I mean, has he really done anything more than be a sidekick or an afterthought when it comes to his career? Yet he acts like he's more popular than Cillian Murphy. I mean, I don't get it. It's sad. I mean, why not settle up with Jerry, pay the guy, or state why he won't be paying him and move on? I mean, let's get this over with for Jerry's sake. But it seems to me like this isn't the first or last time Kevin's going to screw people over. So it may be better for Jerry to cut his losses at this point before he ends up in a rubber room. I mean, it's just a little too much. Jerry's got to calm down. After all, money is not something we trade our life energy for. But hopefully Kevin Conley grows a set of balls and pays back Jerry. I mean, it's the right thing to do. As for KMS, it was great to see Robbie V get a shot in studio. He's not a man of many words, but he got Kirk and the producers to laugh, which is always a good thing. I thought Chris Clemmer was a true professional on Wednesday. He's articulate, not afraid to fight back. And it was also awesome to see our network CEO, John, there. Many of us have said we are more relaxed in ourselves at this new network. The days of walking on eggshells are totally gone. And you could definitely see that with John, as I think he needed the move more than anyone, as he definitely seemed to be himself in studio on Friday. And, I'm a huge John guy. He's going to be a great CEO for this network. I have so much confidence in him. But the biggest takeaway from the week was Coleman and his inability to understand how the pig transplant in a human worked. I mean, what was going on there? He seemed genuinely puzzled by the process, but it definitely made for 5 minutes of pure comedy. And I don't know about you, but Kirk's impression of Jay Leno and that joke about bacon was absolutely classic. I think I hit the 15-second back button a half a dozen times to re-listen to that joke. And next week should be another full week of awesome shows as we draw closer to Portland. It's definitely going to be great to see Jeff D. Lowe in the studio next week, although he's going to be in there with that total boob, Andy Mayo, who is just too much to deal with. I'm sure Andy's going to have 83 questions in that dumb notebook of his, and he's going to be insufferable as usual. But it'll be a good show nonetheless because Jeff D. Lowe is the ultimate Minifan, and, having him in studio with Kirk is going to be a great show to look forward to and listen to. Speaking of shows, tickets are still available for Portland. I won't give anything away, but Kirk and his guys are putting in a lot of time and effort to give us a great night of entertainment. So the least you can do is buy your tickets and support the show. And with that said, I'm going to wrap up episode 30. I may record a short episode next week, but if not, I'll definitely have something out after Portland. Until then, stay well, and I'll talk to you soon.